Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this week's We Can Help Wednesday. Today I'm going to be sharing information about the medical accompaniment that we can provide at Rape Response. So if a survivor from one of the 6 counties that we serve contacts us and it's been 5 days or less since the assault happened, then we let them know that they can go to Northeast Georgia Medical Center, Gainesville for a free medical exam or a rape kit. During this exam, a specially trained SANE nurse, sexual assault nurse examiner, checks for any injuries that somebody may have. They'll document and take pictures of those. We'll collect evidence by swabbing any areas of a person's body that the offender may have touched or grabbed, and we'll take the clothing that they were wearing during or right after the assault. They'll collect that as evidence. So during this process, a staff or volunteer advocate at Rape Response can provide medical accompaniment. So the hospital will call Rape Response and let us know that someone is there for a SANE exam, and the advocate will hop into their car and head to the ER. So our role during this is really to provide emotional support throughout the entire process, to be a hand to hold if the person needs it, and to share information about what they can expect and answer any questions that someone may have. Also, sometimes survivors will have family or friends with them at the ER, but they often can't go back with them during the actual exam. So our advocates stay with the survivor the entire time, and just offer a calm, non-judgmental, and informed presence for the survivor during what can be a really scary and uncomfortable time and experience. The advocate can also grab a snack or coloring sheets for the survivor, can connect them to any resources that they might need immediately, and give them clothing if their clothing is taken as evidence. The advocate can also support them during a law enforcement interview if the person has chosen to report this to law enforcement. If a survivor does choose to report to law enforcement, then the evidence collected during the SANE exam will go to law enforcement for them to send it off for testing. Testing can take months or longer, so it's not a super quick process. You're not going to get results of the SANE exam the day that you're at the hospital. So that can be important to know. If a survivor wants to have the exam but does not want to report to law enforcement, then the evidence collected during the exam can be held for up to a year in case the survivor changes their mind and chooses to report at a later time. Okay, so during the SANE exam, patients or survivors will be offered 2 prophylactic STD treatments. So these are antibiotics that help to prevent some of the most common STDs, and they will also be offered Plan B for pregnancy prevention if that is a concern that they have. During this exam, the SANE nurse will not test for any STDs, as it is generally too soon for anything to show up. And for this reason, the SANE nurse will recommend that the survivor have some follow-up testing done about 6 to 8 weeks after that initial exam. This follow-up medical care, or aftercare as we call it, is something that Rape Response can help to provide. So we partner with each of the health departments in the 6 counties that we serve to provide medical aftercare. So we send a referral to the health department, just letting them know that we are going to pay for that exam for someone. And then the survivor makes their own appointment. They get the results of any testing that's done. We don't have any access to their medical records. We just simply pay for it. This allows survivors to have their medical health taken care of and get the STD treatment and testing that they need without having to worry about the cost for that. As I mentioned, speaking of costs, the SANE exam itself is free and will not be billed to any survivor or billed to insurance. However, if there are other injuries that are associated with the assault, such as if there's a cut that needs stitches or someone needs an x-ray for an injury, then that will be billed to the survivor or to their insurance. And so that's something that's important to keep in mind. Advocates at Rape Response can help the survivor to apply for something called the Georgia Crime Victims Compensation Fund. This is a fund that helps to reimburse survivors for costs associated with the assault that happened to them. This could be medical costs, counseling expenses, things of that nature. So our advocates are trained to help survivors apply for that program. And this is something that staff advocates can help when we follow up. So after each SANE exam, if the survivor gives us permission, then a staff advocate will contact them in the next couple of days to follow up and just check on them, see how they're doing, answer any questions, and provide any support and resources that they may need, including crime victims compensation, medical aftercare, counseling, support groups, law enforcement or legal accompaniment if somebody has reported the crime to law enforcement, or if it's moving through the court process, and then crisis intervention with advocates. So if you have any questions about our medical accompaniment or medical options for survivors after an assault, then please contact us in the comments, in a private message on our website, or call our 24/7 crisis line at 770-503-7273. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer and providing medical accompaniment, then check out the volunteer page of our website. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great Wednesday.